cars, I run it back. Hey, I cop a car, I run it back. Fuck on your bra, then run it back. Run it back, run it back, run it back.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Jordan.
And this is your boy Desmond.
And welcome to episode 7 of Two Black Nerds.
Ooh, numero 7.
Wow, episode 7, man. It's
Numero 7.
Came around pretty fast.
Yeah, man.
7 episodes in right now. Actually pretty proud to say that. I don't know if I've ever done 7 episodes officially of anything.
Well,
no, I can't say that. I have, but it still feels good to have 7 episodes of Two Black Nerds. Anyway, y'all, we back again with another episode this week, man. Again, just thank you to everybody, per usual, for listening to this podcast. I've gotten a lot of good feedback over the past week, I feel like. I've gotten people to, sort of talk to me about their thoughts on the show, things that they like, things that they want to see from us. And as always, man, we're really always open and ready to hear those suggestions and feedback from you guys. Like we look forward to it. It's only going to help us in the long run, right? So always looking forward to hearing those things. So keep it coming, man. Keep it coming on social media.
Please.
Facebook. No, not Facebook. We don't have a Facebook.
We don't have a Facebook.
Why did I say Facebook? Why is Facebook on my mind?
Do we need a Facebook?
I don't think anybody's going to follow us on Facebook. I posted about us on Facebook one time. And
grandma listening to Two Black Nerds.
Got like 7 likes. So no Facebook. Only Twitter and Instagram at Two Black Nerds, man. Follow us for sure to stay up to date with everything that we have going on. We're always posting about brand new news that breaks, new trailers that come out. And just things that we're interested to, or interested in, I should say. We're always just kind of, posting about those things. And if you ever have any suggestions or things that you want to see us talk about on the show, you can easily hit us up on social media at Two Black Nerds. We're always going to, look at those comments and DMs and stuff like that and take that into account and try to fit that into our schedule for the show, man. So
yes, sir.
We're back. Always happy to be here.
And we back.
We got a lot to get to today, per usual. We have 3 movies that we've recently seen that are, I would dare say, some of the best movies that we've seen this year.
This is a run, y'all.
It's quite a run, man. Starting from what we did last Tuesday up until today, the recording of this show, man. We've seen some excellent movies, I would say, that we're going to get into. And then we also have, as usual, a lot of other just random news that broke throughout the week, different things as it relates to the streaming wars, which continue to rage on each and every week, and we continue to find out new deals that are being made. And also some brand new superhero movie news, which is going to be very interesting. We get a long-awaited movie, finally gets a release date. Been waiting on it for quite a while. And then, obviously, we're going to talk about some other things happening in the city. A recent convention just went down this weekend that we're going to cover, man. So a lot to get into. The first topic that we're going to talk about today is a brand new movie just released, Waves, which is the latest release from A24. Now, Waves is something that we've been looking forward to for a while, right?
Yeah, long time.
Long time. The trailer, I remember seeing it probably about 2 months ago, around that time. Right. Yeah, and instantly, like...
That's actually pretty fast. When you think about it.
Yeah, the marketing, like the stretch is not that long, but it feels like a long time. Because I feel like we see a lot of movies in between. But I remember, seeing the trailer and hearing Frank Ocean in the trailer, and instantly I was like, wait a second. This is different. Frank, I don't know if Frank ever licensed out his music for anything. Right? Yeah. And so when I saw that trailer and like Frank Ocean is in the background, I'm like, wait a second. Well,
what's going on here?
This is different.
And then I seen the black cast.
Well, yeah.
And then I said,
that too, right? Yeah. And Sterling K. Brown. Yeah.
Sterling K. Brown is in it.
I'm like, okay, this looks really...
Yeah.
But the trailer is a bit ambiguous. It doesn't give too much away to the story.
Almost all trailers should be like that.
Yeah, they should aspire to be like that, right? So it was pretty ambiguous, but still interesting nonetheless. Like, still a really good trailer, I think, and got me really excited to see this movie. So we finally saw Waves. I know people have been asking us to talk about this movie who've already seen it, or they're excited to see it and they just want to hear our thoughts about Waves. And we just watched it, man. We're literally fresh out of the theater from seeing this movie. We saw it we just finished it up about a little bit over an hour hour ago.
Right.
So this movie is very much top of mind. So we wanted to just start off with Waves and get right into it, man. So just to give a little bit of background about the movie, it's written and directed by Trey Edward Schultz. This is his third movie, I believe. He also directed It Comes at Night, which came out a couple of years ago, and it's starring Kelvin Harrison Jr., Lucas Hedges, Taylor Russell, Alexa Demi from Euphoria fame, Renee Elise Goldsberry, who was in the original cast of Hamilton, and of course Sterling K. Brown. And this movie is doing really, really well with critics, 91% so far. And I think the audience score, though it's only a few people who've reviewed it, I think maybe like 7 or 8, has a 100% audience score. So it's doing quite well.
Yep.
We saw the movie. What are your thoughts on Waves, bro?
What a film. This is a movie that actually takes its time. It's a very patient movie, I would say. It does a very good job of camera movement to convey the message of the movie. It does a very good job of color, which we've talked about, which is just one of the highlights, easy, of the movie is literally the color. Color, just sensational. It's in the poster.
Yeah.
Right?
All over it, right?
Yeah, and you know, you like kind of feel it coming. But this is just a very great, amazing film. I think it was very well made. And yeah, man, it's so much to unpack. It really is. Unfortunately, we can't do that here. But
right.
What I also will say, I want to give credit to Kelvin Harris Jr., right?
Yeah.
Where Harrison Jr., sorry. And he is just, this is the second time after seeing the movie Loose, right? The second time where he does what he has to do on that screen.
For sure.
Kelvin Harrison, I keep wanting to say Harris. Kelvin Harrison Jr. is just, he's already becoming my favorite. I don't even know how old he is. He has to be
He's
like
20, I think 25 or 24.
You can't tell.
Yeah, no.
You can't tell because in Lucy played a high schooler, right? And in this film, he also plays a high schooler, and he really is. He's a talent, dude.
Yeah,
and we are gonna start seeing him more and more in the future. And a lot of people don't know his name, right? Because Luce is really low key, and this is really low key. And I really do believe he is the future of black actors.
Yeah.
I really do. He's one of the few.
Yeah, man. He was absolutely sensational in this movie. I would also give credit to Taylor Russell as well, who played his little sister in the movie. So just, without spoilers for Waves, generally this movie is about a black family, right? I wouldn't necessarily say it focuses on their identity of being a black family,
right.
But that is certainly a reality that is addressed a couple of times throughout the movie. But it's ultimately about a family, a suburban family, and their relationships with each other, and how they sort of navigate their lives. And it ultimately it becomes a bit of a tragic movie, really, and it sort of examines, how they move throughout this situation that occurs and how they deal with it and their relationships with each other. There's father-son sort of tension there. There's husband and wife tension there.
Right.
There's a lot to unpack in terms of just like family structure and how it unfolds as like a family drama, right? And so there's a really strong, I would say, a really strong focus on that, in addition to the things that you mentioned about the technical aspects of the movie,
right.
which I think it probably excels at better than anything else. Like when you talk about the cinematography, the direction of the camera, the color choices, all these things. And we got to talk about that soundtrack for a second, because the choices in this movie and the songs that are featured.
If y'all listen to any kind of music that I think y'all listen to, this thing was bumping.
Yes.
The whole movie is bumping, y'all. They're different songs too, right? They all don't have the same feel.
Right.
Some of them fit the mood perfectly.
Yeah.
And it pays off.
Right.
It pays off, y'all.
I think I would best describe it as like, they're songs that you'll know, but they're not songs that you would hear that often.
Right. Exactly.
Like they're definitely songs that if you listen to certain artists, you'll know what they are. Like when it comes on, you're like, oh yeah, I know what song that is, right? But it's not necessarily like that artist's most recognizable song per se.
Right.
But it fits the structure and the narrative of the movie so well. And they're so strategically placed. Like every time a song came on, I mean, not only did it like stir me up, and I'm like, oh shit, like that's my song, boy. But it was also like, wait a second, this actually fits perfectly with the tone of the scene at the moment, right?
Right.
And I think it's best to experience that without knowing what songs are a part of the movie. But just know, man, there are some incredible, I think, artistic choices made, not only with the soundtrack, but just with all the other things that we mentioned, like the usage of color and like how it transitioned throughout the film, and you know how it it almost felt like at times like color like pulsated throughout the movie, like it color had a sound, you know. It was more than just like what it visually looked like different colors had sounds to them, and feels and tones, and like it made you feel something when you saw a specific color come on screen. And that I wasn't expecting that, you know, man. That was something that was a bit of a surprise to me.
That's one of the ideas I can't wait to unpack. Like I have to talk about that. I've been telling Jordan ever since we left the theater, the title is my favorite part of the movie, and it's because it's ambiguous enough to make you not understand what the movie's about, but it's so specific once you watch the movie to what it is about. Right? It's such a perfect title. For sure. I couldn't have thought of I wouldn't have came up with this. It's genius to me. Yeah. And that
It was it was a very good choice to call this movie Waves for many reasons. I guess, you know, one of the things, like after I left the theater, one of the things that I did sort of grapple with that, you know, I wonder, I don't know if this speaks to the quality of the film per se, or maybe it does. I mean, actually it probably does. But the one thing that I thought sort of lacked in certain areas was the writing and the script. I think it's good writing. Like, I think it's good, but I don't know if it's great writing. Right. What I'll say, because I think that's actually a pretty intentional choice. It seems like the movie makes choices to focus a lot on the visual aspects, right, you know, of what's occurring on screen. And so the writing at some points felt like it didn't necessarily always match the quality of the visual representation on screen. So I did think that at certain points the writing could have been a little bit better. And some conversations in the movie, as it relates to the topics and themes, when we're talking about, you know, a black family living in the suburbs, you know, and it's a family of like entrepreneurs, or just like these different ideas, or even like a young boy and a young girl going to high school and what that means. Certain scenes, like in certain dialogue between characters, I felt like it was a little on the nose. Like they conveyed some ideas that were a little like, of course, like, yeah, we get that. You didn't have to say it that way. Maybe if it was presented in a more intriguing way. So there were a couple of points where I thought that.
I think part of the reason that also is true is because there's so many heavy themes in the movie that they didn't want the script to feel convoluted. They didn't want too much happening. I think they wanted you to sit on, or he wanted you to sit on stuff a couple times, which again, that's not necessarily, you know, I don't know how to work that out, right? Where you have this super heavy theme in a movie and it may not be the best script choice, right? But it was almost like he wrote this thing and he was like, okay, let's pull it back.
Yeah. And he did that a few times.
And to me, the whole second half of the movie was honestly.
Well, so it's funny you mentioned that, because I do want to talk about the structure as well of the movie and how it is laid out. And I don't want to give really anything away in this particular episode about the movie, but it's not a typical 3-act structure. Oh no, of a movie.
To me, it's 1-2.
Right? Yeah. No, it's definitely it's a part 1 and a part 2. Yeah. Right. I also would say that the second half of the movie, which I think is just by nature of like what unfolds and what happens, is not quite as strong
as the first.
Yeah, it's not quite as strong. The first half, there's very much a certain tone and feel. It's chaotic almost. It's frenetic. It's really unstable at times, and you feel that based off of what's happening with the characters in the movie. And the second half is much more. It feels much more inward, isolated, right? Quiet at times.
Waves.
Which, well,
I'm unpacking later. I'll talk about it later.
Let's table that one. But it's a deliberate choice. Yeah. I get it. It speaks to the characters and how we follow that movie. But it was like, damn, it didn't quite hit me as much as the first half.
I feel like if he would have just shortened it and told us that same second part would just take some stuff out. Honestly,
just a few things.
He could have just cut scenes. You know, it might not necessarily be they didn't get the shot or they did get the shot. You know, I think they literally in the editing room just could have cut some stuff out and we would have got it, and it would have been just as powerful. But that being said, it was still really, really good.
Absolutely, a really good movie. I would recommend it. I will say that it's filled with a lot of pain and trauma. Yeah. That is a forewarning. If you do go to see this movie, it's filled with a lot of pain and certain sequences that are tough to watch at times.
Yeah, super trigger warning, not in the the traditional sense of trigger, right? But in the sense of emotional stability.
Yeah,
just go into this movie knowing that you're going to feel something.
100%.
You're going to feel several things. Yeah. It really is. We say this all the time: roller coaster of emotions, right? And you just need to know that before you watch this film. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, Waves is out. Go see it. I would recommend it absolutely. See this movie if you can. I know it's a limited sort of release. It's a smaller movie, but if you can definitely check it out, definitely will recommend that for you.
I'm actually curious. Does A24 ever really do that great in the box office?
No, not really.
All the movies are too small.
No, they're very. I mean, they're a niche studio, right? They know exactly the type of movie that they want to distribute, and so the releases on pretty much all of their films tend to be limited and don't make that much money. But they also don't cost much to make.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Speaking to the the consumer of movies that we have today.
Yeah, and I think A24, like, because they're distributing the films, they're not necessarily producing them. They probably do like a 50-50 financing sort of situation where they'll pay for a certain portion of the cost,
right?
Therefore they don't lose that much based off of the distribution. But probably a few of their movies have made a decent amount of money. I think of like Ex Machina. I think was like
Ex Machina probably did amazing,
a pretty big one. Hereditary probably did really good. And was Lady Bird A24?
Lady Bird's A24.
Yeah, I think that probably did pretty well. So I think they have a few. I think just because of like. There was a strong following for the director, and
like Moonlight should have blew everything out the water, but it didn't.
Yeah. No, it definitely didn't. So I think it just depends. It depends on what they release.
Gotcha. Just wondering.
Yeah, we go from one coming of age story to another. We saw another movie this past week, which I think has some similar themes to Waves. Yeah. Definitely a different experience, no doubt, but has some similar themes and things that I think resonate. It seems like we're almost in this it's like a new renaissance or golden age of like coming of age stories, that have come out, like your 8th grades and your Lady Birds and your mid 90s and all of these movies that really examine like what it is to be youthful and what that looks like coming from a different perspective, whether it be from a girl trying to go to her dream college in Lady Bird, or it's like some young skateboarders, in California from mid 90s, like We're sort of in a golden age, I would say, for like coming of age movies, man. It's almost been, I think, probably since the 80s where we've had so many really strong coming of age stories about young life in America and what that looks like from many different perspectives.
Right.
And Honeyboy, I think, fits into this category.
For sure.
Honeyboy is a brand new movie which is starring Shia LaBeouf. It's also written by him and is directed by Alma Harrell, I believe. This movie is, in a sense, semi-autobiographical, I would say. It's very much about Shia LaBeouf and the relationship with his father in his life. So this is a very personal project for him. The movie is also starring Lucas Hedges, who is also in Waves. So we're seeing a lot crossover there. And it's also starring Noah Jupe and FKA Twigs. So pretty good cast there. And it's doing really well right now, 94% on Rotten Tomatoes. The word of mouth is really good. The critics really like it and enjoy it. So we saw this movie. I think I'll just start off by saying, like, so I really enjoyed Honeyboy. It was a bit different than what I expected. I thought that there was going to be... I don't know why I thought this. I think maybe just based off of the way like the trailers were structured. Maybe I was just assuming the worst. I thought it was going to be worse than it actually was in terms of like how dysfunctional the relationship would be between him and his father. Yeah.
Gotcha.
It was actually a bit surprising to see the movie that they... Now, don't get me wrong. Like, it's definitely like not the most positive relationship, but there was a lot more love there than I thought it would be. Right? Like, there was actually, I felt like it was a lot more love, even though it's not a perfect love by any stretch.
Yeah.
And there's like some questionable things that like his father did in his life, like if they turned out to be true from what they depicted in the movie. But it seems as if like his father really did care about his well-being and who he became, even though like he had some personal gain out of it. It really took a look at that father-son relationship, and I don't know of a movie recently where we sort of had such a small, intimate story that did that for really the entire length. So I thought that was like a great aspect to it, and I think Noah Jupe, who plays like a young Shia LaBeouf, his name is Otis in the movie.
Right.
I thought he was incredible. His range and just his ability to just adapt to every scene and to act off of Shia LaBeouf, who is a really great actor, was
crazy,
very impressive, because this boy can't be older than maybe 13, 14.
Yeah,
he's pretty young,
super young.
And then Lucas Hedges, who plays an older version of him, is going through a lot in the movie. Is really, a lot of trauma and emotional things that he brings from his past and the relationship with his father and all of that stuff. It was really, it was a really, I think, powerful and moving story about just the development of what that was for them, and just how they had to, sort of mend that and come to grips with what the reality was. I think they both, at a certain point realized this is who we are, right? And this is our relationship. And so all of that really spoke to me, just in terms of how sometimes you have to accept that for what it is, but that doesn't mean that there isn't love there, between that relationship. So it was great, man. I thought it was a really good movie. Yeah,
this movie is really good. I like how Shia LaBeouf plays his own dad in this movie, right? Because who can better convey the message or the character that your father was than you? You know what I mean? In this time. And it was crazy for me watching this film in the time period it was set. Because this movie is set, again, this is biographical, right?
Yeah.
This movie is set when he's filming Even Stevens, right?
Yeah.
This movie is set when Shia LaBeouf is filming Even Stevens, and it's crazy seeing the background, right? There has been, for a lot of people that don't know, Shia LaBeouf was known to be kind of unstable in Hollywood towards his mid-20s, right? Or early mid-20s, and this kind of gives us a glimpse at that, what was actually happening behind the background. And it's easy to say Shia LaBeouf is back better than ever in terms of acting. This, he did it in this role for me. This was crazy. He actually beasted this role.
He really did. I mean, he's had a hell of a year so far because he released the Peanut Butter Falcon.
Amazing. Another
which earlier this year was a great movie. So he's back in a big way. And it really gives you a really inside look into his life and the things he's dealt with as an actor. And yeah, I think it's easy to sort of look at him and look at the things that he's been involved with and the situations he's ended up in, and to paint this picture about him. But I think this movie, just reminds us of, just the humanity that comes with, they're celebrities, but they're still human, and they come from, their own individual circumstances. And, with him and his experience, him and his father is that's a very, very profound relationship in his life that affected everything about him, and he has to sort of contend with that, and we see that unfold in this movie, in Honeyboy, and the way that was just brought to life. It was such a grounded, really gritty and raw look at that. There's no flashiness to it at all. It gets straight to the point. It gets ugly at certain points in times where you're just wow, this relationship between these two is it's not good. It's not good at all.
I think it's interesting to point out how both this film and Waves, right, does focus on this father-son relationship, specifically how Honeyboy, it can be a slight, not only lack of love, but envy for your own son, right?
Wow.
And it's kind of crazy thinking behind Waves, it's kind of over love in a way, right? Where, again, I don't want to talk about too much, but Sterling K. Brown really loves Kelvin Harris's character so much,
almost
right?
To a fault,
but almost too much, right? That it messes it up. But it's as a black man though too, right?
Yep.
Black men have to walk differently versus how, you know what I mean? Versus how Shia LaBeouf gets to walk in the world, right? And that parallel is really interesting. I like this thing where men are actually talking about their fathers. Because we honestly don't get a lot of that, right?
Right.
And both of these movies to me are about therapy. Both of these movies is about therapy to me. Honeyboy, you're everybody needs a therapist. And then you watch Waves and you're no, everybody needs a therapist.
Literally everybody.
Why doesn't the entire family have a therapist in this movie? And I really like the vulnerability that's being spoken to in both of these films, right? It's showing us things that we might not see in every film, in every movie, or even any TV show, because it takes the time to do those things and build those things.
Yeah, man, the vulnerability and the rawness of it, it's all there, particularly in both of these movies, for sure. And with Honeyboy, I think it's looking at it from the industry side,
right?
From that Hollywood lifestyle and what it looks like when a father, really does envy his son, and he pushes him so hard to be, this ideal image of what an actor should be. And when you do stuff like that, what are the repercussions of that? And it tends to lead to alienation almost, and resentment and all these different things, right? But it's really a powerful experience, I think, to see unfold. I would say the same thing about Waves as well, to see just how these father-son relationships impact the people in these movies and the characters that are dealing with these different things. So, Honeyboy, man, it's powerful.
Really good.
We'll see what happens in terms of like award season if things come around for it. But
I think a lot of these movies are about to just be literally all 3 movies we've seen this weekend.
Yeah,
should probably be on the slate somewhere. They don't necessarily have to win, but I definitely think they're going to be talked about.
Yeah, across the big 5 shows, like I foresee a lot of recognition coming. So I mean, you mentioned the third movie that we saw this weekend. Let's transition into the next movie that we have seen that is recently come out, Ford V Ferrari, which was just released this past Friday. It's directed by James Mangold, and it's written by Jez Butterworth, John Henry Butterworth, and Jason Keller, and it's starring Matt Damon and Christian Bale. It's doing incredible right now, 92% on Rotten Tomatoes and an A+ cinema score. So it really could not be doing any better right now. Ford V Ferrari is a biographical sports drama film. It's based on a really interesting time where it sort of takes a look at the battle at Le Mans between Ford and Ferrari and that race, and just how it came to be, and how Ford wanted to build this car, the fastest car in the world, to finally take down, the big Titan, Ferrari, right? The racing team at Le Mans, which was, I think this was set in 1966. If you don't know what Le Mans is, I didn't know what it was really. 24-hour race. Very dangerous, long as hell. And originally, what's interesting about this movie is that Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt were originally supposed to be the 2 stars of the movie,
which is crazy.
Which, I mean, could have definitely worked. Like, I love both of them as well. Could have definitely worked. But I will say about Ford v Ferrari,
I'm happy it went the way it went.
Christian Bale and Matt Damon,
top five.
My God, did phenomenal in this movie.
Amazing.
Their chemistry with each other, it seems so genuine.
It's ridiculous.
And so real.
Yeah.
Like, I was just sitting there like, wow, they're really friends, man. Like, they're really close. Even though they bicker, they go back and forth, they don't see eye to eye usually ever.
Right.
The loyalty that they have for each other in the movie, and how much they respect each other is something that really shined through. But I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit. Ford v Ferrari just came out. We saw it in IMAX, which I definitely recommend. See
everybody
this on a huge screen, man. Like, you got to see these racing sequences. It's phenomenal. But give me your thoughts, man. Ford v Ferrari.
First of all, this movie's way different from Logan. James Mangold.
He goes from Logan to this.
Goes from Logan to Ford v Ferrari, which I can see in terms of, let's say, like shots, right? You know what I mean? How good it looked. But to say just 2 different tones of movie. So Ford v Ferrari, I haven't seen a lot of racing movies. Or I don't know if a lot even exist.
I was about to say, I don't know if that many racing movies actually get made.
All I can think about is Talladega Nights and like the first 2 Fast and Furious where the people are actually racing.
Yeah, they don't really race.
They don't race no more.
They've turned into superheroes.
This legit might be my favorite racing movie. That's how good it was.
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen racing executed so well in a movie. On any front, like the way the sequences are broken down, really, and the way they're filmed, and how the drama and the tension builds, and like all of that stuff, like the entire movie, the racing sequences had me on the edge of my seat, like literally the entire time, because I truthfully did not know the results or the outcome of like these different races that happened in the movie. I didn't read up on the history of like what really went down. Like I just wanted to go into it not knowing almost anything about what was happening. And so as I'm sitting there watching these sequences, I'm like, oh my God, I really don't know what's going to happen. Are they going to die? Are they going to live?
Like, oh, that went down like that?
Yeah, it shows. I think what it did so well, like, I'm not into racing. I don't watch, any sort of racing as like sport.
How many black people you know watch NASCAR?
Well, nobody. Right. Nobody, because those races are also long as hell. I don't know who's sitting there watching that for 24 hours. No, we really don't. But it shows how dangerous it is.
Yeah, no,
like
it's
the
mad
pure
dangerous.
danger that's involved in doing that. Like in an instant, you get into a wreck, your car spins out, your brakes go out, whatever it is, like any sort of malfunction happens, that could be your life. That could cost you everything, right?
Yeah, just gone just like that.
There were a couple of times in the movie where I'm like, oh, it's over. It's a wrap.
That's it.
Yeah. And I think that was just like so well communicated and well done. But no, I just really like this is now in one of my top 10 for 2019. I would say it's in one of my top 10 best films of the year. It was just, I don't really have a single complaint about it, to be honest. Like I can't think of like any problem that I have with the movie. The script was great. The cast was amazing. The racing sequences really were nail biting and had you on the edge of your seat and you didn't know what was going to happen. Everything about it was just so well done. And like when we walked out of like seeing it, I had looked up the runtime and I saw that it was legitimately like 2.5 hours long.
Didn't feel like it.
Did not feel like it at all.
No.
You know what I'm saying? It flies by. It's such a good and well-paced movie, man.
I think we all need to start talking about this man, Christian Bale, way more often. Because when I say this, he becomes people.
Every time. Every movie he does, he becomes somebody.
He is so good, yo.
Yeah.
Like, I made a tweet. I was like, top 5. Like, actors today. Like, we need to start having this conversation with Christian Bale.
Yeah, no, he has to be there.
Even
right?
if the movie isn't the best, like Vice, right?
Yeah,
it is. He does sensate. It's not him.
Oh no, it's never him.
Him.
He's never dragging a movie down. And the one thing I'll say about Christian Bale, even if I'm not necessarily interested in the movie, because he's in the movie, I'm gonna watch it.
Oh yeah,
I've noticed that a few times. Like there have been movies that I might not have initially been interested in. He was also in
I think The Fighter was like that for me.
He was in Hostels last year. I wasn't really interested in it, but because he was in it, I wanted to see it because he's just built up. Like he's such a good actor, it builds up loyalty, right?
Man,
it builds up trust and loyalty because you know when you see him act,
yeah.
even if the movie isn't that great, you know he's gonna deliver.
But what's crazy is everything is great for the most part, right?
Yeah.
We have The Prestige. The Dark Knight.
Well, yeah. He's done
Batman.
He's done a big franchise, right? He's done the franchise.
Oh
right?
man,
he's done big and small movies. He's run the gamut of
American
damn near everything
Hustle?
you can do. Yeah, I mean, and like you mentioned, he becomes people. He transforms himself every single time and delivers a performance where you're not looking at Christian Bale. You're looking at Christian Bale has become this person that he's
American
portraying.
Psycho.
Yeah,
Christian Bale.
And he's a legend. He's a legend.
We need to start talking about this
Bottom
man
line.
a little more often.
Bottom line,
I think
he's a legend.
we're going to have to start putting some respect on this man's name. For real.
But is nobody respecting his name like that?
I mean, if you go ask, if we did like a corner survey, almost like Family Feud, how many people gonna say Christian Bale is top 5?
I think people
not gonna say it, bro.
Yeah,
They not.
But who would they say above Christian Bale though? Like
if you said right now,
yeah. If they said right now, who would they actually say above Christian Bale? I'm sure. People
Leo.
People would say Leo,
Which is probably true.
People would say Tom Hardy.
Yep.
People would say.
I just feel like they wouldn't think about him, but when you mentioned them, they would say something. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, if you were like, oh, is Christian Bale not in there?
And they'd be like,
oh yeah, of course he's in there. But they wouldn't initially.
They
think
might
of him
say a
at
Matt
first.
Damon,
Probably a Matt Damon, Leo.
Denzel still.
Oh yeah, Denzel's forever.
But that's what they would say
Denzel's
though,
forever. Yeah.
because he's still kind of active, more than like a Tom Hanks is, right?
Right. Nah, 100%. I mean, yeah.
Which people might say Tom Hanks, which
I would still say Tom Hanks.
He might be top 2, and he might not be 2.
Nah, for sure. I mean, when we talk about top 2, for me, Denzel and Tom Hanks are that's kind of who I'm looking at.
Yeah.
I mean,
he might not be.
Yeah, I'll say that. But no, Christian Bale is absolutely one of the finest actors in the world,
And
bar
I think
none.
this movie for me definitely it kind of solidified it for sure.
Man,
I'm like just his mannerisms is just ridiculous, man. It really is.
everything, man.
It was good.
How much weight did he have to lose from when he was just in Vice last year? You know, because he blew up for that role.
Joaquin wasn't small when he did Joker.
No, he
They
wasn't,
both went through the same thing. It looked like they was losing weight together. Man. Hey, he called Joaquin, was like, "Hey, you want to not eat today?
Shout out to the trainers, man.
Do you want to not eat together?
Hey, man, let's take these incredible roles where we have to lose massive amount of weight. Like, they must have incredible trainers to keep them like going back and forth like this because they're constantly transforming themselves. It's kind of crazy, but no, Ford V Ferrari it's a phenomenal movie.
Just
man.
go see it.
Just go see it. Like, I think it's absolutely, when we roll around to award season, when we talk about technical aspects, when we talk about the sound design and mixing and cinematography, and
They did it.
I think they might be a lock for all of that stuff.
They did it.
And I also heard, I'm not sure how true this is, I also heard that they are gonna put forth a bid for both Matt Damon and Christian Bale,
As they should.
to be nominated for Best Actor.
As they should.
Nobody's gonna be supporting.
Matt Damon also beasted. Matt Damon did his thing.
He's also slept on. I feel
He
like
did his thing.
Yeah.
He is. And I think it's only because he needs to be in more movies like this, right? It needs to be a little bit less, I don't know, Elysium, which is a good. I like Elysium actually, but
Wow,
you just didn't. It just doesn't convey the good actor he is. That makes sense.
Right.
It's another one of those. I remember talking about. I told you how Brad Pitt, right, is like he's a great actor trapped in a movie star's body, right?
Yeah.
And I kind of feel that way about Matt Damon. He's a really good actor, but he's just trapped in like this movie star body.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if he gets more roles that allows it to bring that actor out, we'll see a lot more respect on Matt Damon's name too.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when it's all said and done, these two right here are just. I think they're really in a league of their own. When I go see a movie, I trust that they're gonna give the good stuff. They're gonna give a great performance. Though I won't mention The Great Wall with Matt Damon because
we don't talk about that movie. We just threw that movie away. I didn't even see it on purpose.
That wasn't.
I ain't seeing no.
That wasn't
Great
a good
Wall
choice.
movie where the poster is all white people.
That wasn't a good choice. I'm gonna just throw that out there. Anyway, getting off topic. That's Ford V Ferrari, man. Go see it on the biggest screen possible. I low-key want to see it in Dolby, just based off of the sound alone. How nasty that would be.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That would be so good. But anyway, go see that movie, man. It's incredible. Moving on, man. We're gonna talk about the brand new streaming service. We mentioned this last week. We talked about Disney Plus.
Yeah.
It launched. Mm-hmm. It's out in the world. 10 million signups apparently in the first 24 hours.
Which they didn't expect either, actually.
They weren't ready for that. I don't think anybody was ready for that. Although what I will say, 10 million signups. What's the drop-off going to be like? There's going to be drop-off for sure.
But there's also going to be ads.
There's going to be ads, but there has to, because the thing is, like, sign-ups, that includes people who are doing a free trial, right?
Yeah.
So the drop-off is going to be there, and then also, like, how many people are going to get on Disney Plus, poke around for a little bit and be like, oh, yeah, I remember that. That was dope. Yeah, but I'm not about to actually sit here and watch. You know, like, how many people are going to drop off? I don't know. We'll see what that looks like.
I think it'll be net positive at the end of the day, just because what we've seen in the past with Netflix and Hulu, the same thing happened to them.
They not Netflix though, man.
You're right. They're not Netflix.
They're not Netflix. They're not nowhere near. I don't think they're anywhere near Netflix at
But
this
Netflix
point.
built up though to it, right? Like Disney Plus had so many expectations on it, and then here it goes. Netflix was like, it was almost word of mouth a little bit, right? Everyone was like, "Hey, y'all hear about this new streaming service over here called Netflix that used to get DVDs to your mailbox?" But Disney Plus is different, right? They're going off this already oiled machine, this layout of this already oiled machine. And so I don't know. We'll see.
I do wonder if nostalgia is going to be enough though, because it's strong for sure. Like we live in, I think, a time where people do enjoy and love nostalgia, but it's like how far will that carry you? Because I think at the end of the day, people desire new shit, right? They desire new stuff. Like Netflix, I think, in all honesty, got as big as it did because of their originals.
Orange is the New Black made Netflix to me.
That and House of Cards.
That and House of Cards. Those two things in combination boosted it.
Yeah, 2013 when they released both of those, that changed the game.
If we don't get those, we don't get Stranger Things.
No, I mean we don't. In all actuality, I don't think people talk about this. We don't really get Netflix. We don't get the binge culture that we live in. We don't get any of that stuff.
Those two things did it.
Yeah, they started that off, and like they kickstarted this whole idea of like, oh, a streaming service can release its own show and it can release all the episodes at one time
and do well,
and it's like great quality content.
Yeah, we don't get none of that.
So I do think that like. Yeah, like the nostalgia with Disney is strong. They own our childhoods. Like we know this. They got everything, right? But like new stuff, man, is really going to separate them from the pack if they can get there.
I actually think that is the reason why they decided to do Mandalorian week to week and High School Musical week to week, because they needed time to fluff Disney Plus until more shows come out. Like imagine Mandalorian came out all the episodes, right? Wouldn't nobody be watching Disney Plus right now?
Nah.
Or they would be. But
what would happen is we would all watch it. We would talk about it for a week, and then it's no longer in public consciousness.
You release it, you know what I mean, week to week, and it allows people to again take their time while Disney is in the back. You know what I mean, trying to get their new shows together, doing what they need to do together.
Now that you mentioned this, I'm glad you brought that up. Let's talk about it. The Mandalorian is out. The first 2 episodes have been released. We won't give any spoilers away for The Mandalorian if you have not checked it out. I think we'll talk generally about it and just like our thoughts and how we feel about The Mandalorian. You talk about the week-to-week release format that they're doing.
Yeah.
Initially, I thought that may have been a good idea. I wonder if that was actually a good idea. And I say that because when I watched episode 1 of The Mandalorian, and episode 2 for that matter, because they were both released last week, I went on to watch the show, and unexpectedly, I saw in the first episode that it was only 38 minutes long. And I was like, that's interesting. But, maybe that's just pilot episode, whatever, 38 minutes. Cool. I'm thinking, second episode, it'll definitely be like 50 minutes, 55 minutes, an hour. It was not. It was even shorter. It was 30 minutes. It's not even 38 minutes. And so I started to think like, so this half hour sort of format looks like it's going to be the consistent thing that they go for, which if The Mandalorian had been released all at one time, I don't think I would even think about it. It's like I can watch everything back to back to back. It's 30 minutes, whatever. Like, cool, I'll breeze through it in like 5 hours. Yep. But because it's week to week, it's like I'm waiting a week for 30 minutes, which it's a good 30 minutes, but I don't know. I think we're so used to the binge culture, of course. Like, we're so accustomed to just being able to get stuff all at one time and just plow through it. Now that we have like a streaming service, which is no different than HBO, but that's how they've always worked. But we get Disney Plus and like it releases this show, and it's like, here's 30 minutes of The Mandalorian. Which, hey, if 30 minutes is what the episode needs, that's what it needs. But it was a bit jarring, is what I'm going for.
It's almost like, are you even playing to your strengths at this point, right? Where the reason Netflix does what it does is because it can.
Yeah.
And now Disney Plus is like doing these things, but they're not doing the things that they can do. In terms of, you know what I mean? That's part, like, the reason HBO has to be like that, because it's on TV.
Yeah.
Like,
that's been their model for
it's part of cable / satellite.
Yeah.
HBO has to be like that.
Yeah.
They're still on TV. Versus Disney Plus, they're not. You can do whatever you want.
Right.
But also maybe maybe that is a bad thing in hindsight for Disney Plus, right? Maybe they're thinking the same thing. Yeah. Maybe even some people on the team was like, man, I thought these episodes would be longer. or you know what I mean?
No, totally. It's like, damn, 30 minutes. Like, you have the ability to make this 60 minutes if you want, right?
It could be an hour 30.
Yeah, like,
if you do what you want.
You can go as long as you want. You have no restrictions. This is your service. Now I wonder, is this what's going to happen moving forward? All the stuff that we hear that's coming down the pike from the Obi-Wan show, from the new Marvel shows, Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Loki, is that their strategy? Are they going for shorter pieces of content with the week-to-week strategy? Is it going to, are we transitioning, back into like 30, 35 minutes instead of what we've grown accustomed to over the past 7-8 years in terms of getting like content that's typically between like 48 minutes and 55 minutes. Like, is that the strategy? I don't know.
I guess the question is the feedback, right? How much does Disney look at feedback? Do they look at Sonic level feedback?
Let's start over.
Let's just do it. Or, do they actually listen to people? Like, we're talking right now, right? Would Disney Plus hear this and be like, man, maybe we should reconsider this? Or are they just going to ignore it and do what they want?
I think they will listen, but it's also, they have a lot already in the can. Like, they're filming Falcon and Winter Soldier right now, for example. Yeah. Which, if the episodes are going to be 30 minutes from the get-go, they can't really change that now. The script's written, the episodes and all of the stuff is pretty much paid for. Like, you can't really change that now. Loki's kind of started filming. You can't really change that now. But maybe, like, way down the line, like... Well, not even way down the line, but just like with other things that they start to like put in motion. Like, if people, I think if this becomes like a big talking point for people, if people are like, no, we really want these to be like an hour, then I think they will change. Yeah.
This could be isolated though too, right? Like, it could be The Mandalorian. They said the first 2 episodes is this length. We don't know. Yeah, we could get to episode 3 and it'd be 55 minutes.
Yeah, we really don't know.
Yeah, we don't know yet. And it could be isolated to where this is just The Mandalorian too. It might be the structure of the show. We don't know yet. So.
I wasn't a huge fan of episode 1 though. It didn't hit me like I thought it would. I thought from a pacing standpoint, it could have used some improvements. It's good. Don't get me wrong. It's definitely. I thought it was good, and I watched it twice just to like make sure I wasn't tripping. And I was like, oh, yeah, this is good, but it wasn't, I don't know. My thing is, you have one chance to make a first impression.
Right.
Your first episode should say a lot about who you are as a show. And so when I watched it, I kind of left the end of it, and I was like, oh, that was it? Like, and I don't know if that was the length. That might have played a part into it. But I do think that, like, the pacing is a reason for that. I felt like the editing wasn't as fast paced as maybe I would have liked it. It was a very slow and more methodical show. Yeah. Which they always said that this was going to be like a Western version of Star Wars. This
which
is gonna, it feels like it for sure. Which, a lot of Westerns sort of take that more slow and methodical approach. But I don't know, man, it's Star Wars, at the same time. And I just wanted more, I think, leaving the first episode, and so I just kind of walked away like, yeah, it was fine, but it didn't wow me. particularly being that this is like your flagship show that you're launching an entire streaming service with.
Right.
Like they have other originals, but this is like the flagship. This is what people are signing up for. Like a lot of people are, right? Star Wars at the end of the day. I wish there was a little bit more.
Yeah, I liked it. We'll see, but I'm just patient is all. I liked it. A lot of things you mentioned were super valid, and I thought I had a lot of the same thoughts. But again, I'm just ready to see what happens. You know, maybe the latter half is better than what we're seeing right now. I like there's a lot of Easter eggs in there for Star Wars fans.
Definitely.
I like that a lot. Actually.
That was good. Yeah, that was a lot of good stuff.
There's a lot of Easter eggs in there.
A lot of love shown
and
to the Star Wars
I love
universe.
Louis Goranson too.
Oh man,
a genius.
Yo, he's phenomenal.
He's insane.
His score for this is so good. It's so good.
I feel like I might have made a tweet like a year ago, and I was like, Louis Goranson might be one of the best producers of our time.
Seriously.
And we're watching it happen in real time.
He's so brilliant.
And I've been seeing it since the beginning, like since Childish Gambino days, right? Like I feel like I'm watching this man grow into one of the greatest, and this is really dope to see.
He's phenomenal. That's one of the best. That is one of the things that I liked about the show the most at this point. So yeah, we'll see where it goes. There's a lot left.
See where it goes.
There's still 6 more episodes, so this will go well into December, towards the end of the year. So that's our thoughts on The Mandalorian. If you got Disney Plus, check it out. If you don't, then get that login from somebody and see what you can do about that. You can share up to 4 screens. So
4 consecutive
streams
at the same time, and I believe like 7 profiles or something like that.
3 of mine already taken.
Really?
So, yeah.
I only got 2.
The slots filling up fast, y'all. Figure it out. Get on Disney Plus. Check it out. With that said, we won't go from one streaming service to another. We already talked about Netflix. Netflix is not going down like no chump in all of this, man. They saw all the stuff from Disney. Obviously, this what we're about to mention has been in the works for a while. Like this didn't just pop up out of nowhere.
Right.
Netflix, y'all, has signed a brand new deal with Nickelodeon and Viacom, which will allow Nickelodeon to create and produce original animated content based on its large library of really iconic characters for Netflix over the next few years.
Yeah.
If you know Nickelodeon, if you know anything about Nickelodeon, you know that they made some iconic shows between the 90s and the early to mid-2000s.
People argue it's still that's where all the greatest cartoons of all time live.
Listen, I don't know if anybody else matches them in terms of just like how much good stuff that they had. So we're looking at a huge library of characters. We're talking about Hey Arnold and SpongeBob and Rugrats and Wild Thornberrys and Doug and I mean the list just goes on.
The list is ridiculous.
Fairly Odd Parents and just it's so many things.
The list is so ridiculous.
So we don't even know what the full capacity of this deal is going to be. Like we really don't know what it's going to entail. What we do know now so far, the deal is quite hefty. These contracts are getting about as big as basketball and baseball contracts at this point.
Absolutely insane.
Yeah, so apparently Nickelodeon is getting $200 million off of this deal.
Yeah.
Which, that makes sense. They got a lot of great stuff, and apparently they're going to do a spin-off television series for Squidward from SpongeBob,
which is super interesting. So one, I heard that the previous creator of the show, who died,
yeah,
they said he never wanted any spinoffs, and that this is actually against his wishes.
Well, that wouldn't be the first time that this happened.
Be the first time.
I think we can point out a lot of creators and visionaries in Hollywood where they had a vision for something, and then the company after that person is gone is like, nah, bro, we gotta make money.
we gotta
make money. I think Disney, if we go back to Disney, they've abandoned quite a lot of what Disney thought that they should have been. But
I'm down for a Squidward show though. And it's
not?
because one, we're older now. When we were younger, we were like, why is Squidward such a pansy? Like, what is wrong with him? Why is he always so upset? Why is he always, this and that? But now that we adults,
oh no, I empathize with Squidward.
Everyone is like, Squidward is the most realistic person on the whole 100%. Show.
Squidward is a whole mood.
We hate the SpongeBobs in real life.
Squidward is a whole mood all day, every day.
Well, Squidward is a real mood. Go to work, you be like, ugh.
Nah, he's definitely he embodies, I think, a lot of like what we feel on a day-to-day basis.
And so I think if they can capture that, the working millennial, right? If they can capture that in this show, I think it'll be dope.
That will be dope, man. If you don't already know, Nickelodeon already has a lot of their content on it's Hulu, right?
It's Hulu. Yeah, they have like half these shows on Hulu.
Yeah.
Which I kind of talked about on Twitter a little bit too.
People don't really have Do they have Hulu?
I assume they didn't anymore because everyone was like, "Oh, we get to see this and that." And I'm like, y'all know he's been on Hulu for like 3 years.
They've been there, right?
Like an actual 3 years. Like Hey Arnold has, I think, legit been on there for about 3 years.
Yeah, it has. It's been on there
And
for
they
quite
just
a while.
don't choose to watch it until it's on Netflix, which is maybe. My takeaway: people just don't have Hulu.
That's what it is.
That has to be what it is.
It's an access thing. Even that, I mean, Hulu has quite amount of subscribers. I think they have like 25 million.
Even SpongeBob is licensed to Amazon Prime, I think, right now.
Yeah,
like,
it is.
At least like 2 or 3 seasons.
Yeah, for sure. Which Amazon actually has more content than any of these services combined.
Crazy.
Like, if you look at the numbers, I think somebody broke it down. Like Amazon technically has the most, but also to that point, like they're producing original content right now, which a lot of it is getting like really good recognition and all of that good stuff. They've won awards and everything, but it's still not quite to the degree of Netflix. They're still kind of the king of the yard.
I do think this deal was broken a long time ago, like you said.
Yeah.
And one part of the reason is because we had already been promised an Avatar series, which I think was just a very early part of the deal. I think the news just happened to come out at a weird time, right? It's like Disney Plus launch, and Netflix has Nickelodeon.
Maybe it wasn't weird at all.
Yeah.
Maybe it was very much strategic.
Yeah, very much strategic.
People are in this nostalgia trip, right? Like I actually don't think it was weird at all.
No, that makes sense.
I think it was very planned out from Netflix's point. Everybody, we've known Disney Plus was coming.
Yeah.
We've known for months now. November 12th was the date. Netflix biding their time.
Yeah.
They knew that people would get on Disney Plus and be happy to see, oh my God, Even Stevens and That's So Raven and Smart Guy and Boy Meets World and all of these like really nostalgic things from our childhoods. Netflix just waited and they were like, oh yeah, well, we got something for y'all too. We're gonna bring one of Disney's direct competitors at that specific point in time when you talk about like young programming, like children and young adult programming. So
yeah, I'm excited for all the shows that aren't on Hulu.
Oh yeah, because there's a bunch of stuff that isn't on Hulu that we Is Rocket Power on Hulu?
Nope. Rocket Power is about to be huge, y'all. That's one of my favorite cartoons.
That's all I needed to hear.
I can't wait. Rocket Power. I can't wait for all that to be on there. iCarly isn't on anything right now. I really enjoyed iCarly. Drake and Josh is on Hulu, by the way, in case you need to go watch
Interesting.
it. Drake and Josh has also been on Hulu for a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm excited for Fairly Odd Parents is not on Hulu.
Okay. That's gonna get.
That's gonna be big
for sure.
Yeah, it's gonna get me.
Yeah. So there's a lot left still. There's a lot left.
No, there's definitely a lot left. Specifically, I think Netflix and Disney are going to be heavy hitters for kids.
Yeah.
Because they already have a for kids section on Netflix, and that's going to be huge if they get this Nickelodeon or since they got this Nickelodeon deal, right? Like the kid content is actually insane for them.
Man, stuff is heating up, y'all. These streaming wars are just. My head can't keep up. My head's always spinning every time a new deal gets made. I'm like, wow, they're going for the buckets.
Oh, another reason I kind of seen this coming because the Rocko's Modern Life movie came out on Netflix a couple months ago, and an Invader Zim movie came out on Netflix a couple months ago.
I didn't even know about those.
Yo, both of those came out, and so it's just I just kind of seen it coming.
Like we said, they've been doing this deal.
Yeah, they've been doing. I can tell they've been doing it for a while.
They just waited because they wanted to stick it to Disney.
Ooh. The last thing, what I really want to watch, that's none of these streaming services, that Nickelodeon is coming, as told by Ginger.
Wow.
That's my joint.
People slept on that show.
That's my joint, boy.
People slept on that show. That's a great show.
Someone once told me the
that Macy Gray intro.
greener.
Come on. That was a good ass show.
Yeah, that's.
I'm definitely gonna check that out. Netflix, Nickelodeon. Is that going to get you excited? Are you going to watch all these old nostalgic shows? Are you going to watch the new Squidward show? Let us know at 2 Black Nerds, and we'll talk about it.
Yes.
Let's move on, man. We got to get into some superhero news. Finally, it's happened. The Rock has released the release date for Black Adam.
Finally.
DC's Black Adam. This man was cast as Black Adam in 2014.
2014, y'all. Like...
a long time ago.
Long ago.
That was over 5 years ago, and by the time the movie will come out, it will have been 7 years between casting and release.
That is absolutely ridiculous.
I don't know, but anyway, the movie's coming out December 22nd, 2021. Right? We're finally getting a Black Adam movie. It's gonna be shot really soon, and they're gonna release it finally. It's gonna be interesting to see what this movie, what sort of approach it takes. But I mean, we're sort of in a time of of villains and anti-heroes, man. They just made Joker, just crossed $1 billion at the box office, first rated R movie to ever do so. We're getting a lot of content from like villains and anti-heroes. Harley Quinn movie is coming out. Birds of Prey is about to come out. We've already had Suicide Squad. We're going to get another one. So DC is really sort of looking at this approach of like looking at their anti-heroes and villains and making movies out of them. What do you think's gonna be gonna come of Black Adam? Is it gonna be the opposite of Shazam? What are we gonna look at with this film?
I think it's gonna be darker than Shazam.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, I mean it has to be, but I think like purposely super dark. Even though there's a couple parts of Shazam, you like, did that just happen? Like that actually got dark.
Yeah, I'm like, this ain't for kids.
Because I don't know if you remember right, but Black Adam was announced way before Shazam was announced.
Yeah.
And it confused the hell out of me.
Yeah, people are like, wait, so
I was like, so no Shazam before Black Adam?
Yeah,
what is weird. Going on here? But I'm excited for this casting.
It's The Rock.
It's The Rock.
It's The Rock,
This
bro.
is Dwayne The Rock Johnson, y'all. Like he's The Rock.
He's the right. He's without question in my mind the biggest movie star in the world.
Yeah.
I think he is probably the only actor still alive that can sell a movie purely based off of his name.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anybody else can do that except him right now.
Yeah, that's right.
He has such a strong presence on social media, and his box office power is it's unmatched, man. I mean, he's taken franchises and revived them and given them new life, between Fast and Furious to Jumanji.
Right.
How the hell did that movie almost grossed $1 billion? It has a sequel coming out this
still
year.
Blowing my mind.
He injects so much life into movies and franchises. Very excited to see what he brings to this role, man. And he's gonna play an anti-hero / villain that's pretty iconic in the DC universe.
He's definitely iconic.
And this is gonna come before an official Shazam sequel. We haven't heard an announcement yet, but I would assume that this is gonna come before Shazam 2.
I think that's why maybe they waited, right? Maybe they heard, or maybe they figured out in the boardroom that they're going to make a Shazam movie finally, right? Yeah. They were like, let's just go ahead and release that first. It makes sense. Yeah. And I think that's what they did. And they were like, well, that went well.
Yeah, it actually went well.
So let's throw this Black Adam right back on the slate.
I also think there was a lot of course correction. Obviously, we've seen what's happened with DC between their initial plans. Because when he got cast in 2014, that was when they announced all of this. They announced, it was going to be a Cyborg movie and a Flash movie and a Green Lantern movie. This was before Batman v Superman came out and people hated it. And then Suicide Squad came out and people hated it.
I being one of them.
So they course corrected for sure. I really think that when The Rock was initially cast, he was going to always be Black Adam, of course, but I think they were going to inject a little bit more Superman into the story.
Yeah.
And now that Henry Cavill is looking like he's no longer Superman and they're no longer really focusing on Superman, I think they wanted to take some time to refocus on Shazam, introduce him, and now The Rock's going to be a part of this universe and they can course correct and go the direction that they want to go now. So it should be interesting.
I think this should be really big for us in terms of just black people. This is an Egyptian character, African, and they actually got the skin tone right for this, right? Like, it's not some white man trying to play out here playing Black Adam. Black Adam is from Kondak, I think is Kondak,
something like that,
Egypt, or whatever. And I really do think this is a dope casting to me. It's another, it's cool to see this. I don't know how to explain it. This Samoan man, purposely play this perfectly casted, Black Adam.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really good casting choice,
be dope.
And it's The Rock, like we said. Man,
it's The Rock.
Gonna be great. But this leads into the conversation that 2021 is ridiculous at this point. With how much is coming out. Strictly looking at superhero comic book content coming out in 2021, we have no less than 8 movies coming out, I believe.
Yeah.
That's not also counting Disney Plus stuff coming out from Marvel Studios. So just to give you all an idea of what 2021 looks like, in February, we're getting Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. In May, we're getting Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. June, The Batman. July, Spider-Man 3. Going to close out this current chapter of Tom Holland's Spider-Man in the MCU. August, The Suicide Squad, directed by James Gunn. November, Thor, Love and Thunder, the 4th Thor movie, bringing in Lady Thor. December, Black Adam, like we just talked about. That's just on the theatrical side, bro. On Disney Plus, we're getting 4 shows. In the spring of 2021, WandaVision. Also in the spring, Low Key. Then in the summer, we're getting What If, looking at the MCU. What if this happened? What if that happened? And then in the fall, we're getting a Hawkeye TV series on Disney Plus.
Wow.
What the hell, bro?
2021 is insane.
I don't know if I'm ready. Like, my question is, obviously, this is amazing. This gets me excited, of course.
Easy.
Let's look specifically at Marvel Studios and the MCU. They are now going to be releasing, we just saw 4 movies a year starting in 2021, and they're going to consistently do that, it looks like, from now on. In 2022, they're releasing 4 movies.
Yeah.
In 2023, they're releasing 4 movies. And again, these are theatrical releases. That's not counting the Disney Plus stuff. In 2021, they have 4 Disney Plus shows. I can't see why they would slow down moving forward on that end as well. Can they keep up their content, their high quality of content with that much output? Can they continue to deliver excellent, great, or above average superhero movies with so much coming out?
I guess that's the question, man. I really don't know how to answer the question. We have to see what happens. It depends on the bandwidth, right? The bandwidth of Disney. What it takes to, I guess, one of the great things about the MCU, as we already have it, right, is the patience that they took. And so adding 1 more movie a year, can you have the same effect with this? Is it the same patience? I guess is the question. Maybe in terms of having a big enough team, maybe they have the formula now, right? And maybe it does work. You don't know, because there are 4 seasons in a year. Maybe a movie a season is not a terrible idea, you know. But it just depends. I guess we're just gonna have to see.
Yeah, I guess I'm a little bit more cynical about it, to be honest. I don't think that they can. So I think this is what I think. I think on the movie front, theatrically, I think they'll be fine. I think the movies are always going to get really great attention, and they're always typically going to be either good to great.
Yeah.
On the Disney Plus side is where I'm a little bit more concerned, right? I know it's a priority for them. It's a priority for Disney. It's obviously going to be a priority for Marvel.
Right.
That's kind of where I worry and where I see the quality might slip a little bit. But I mean, listen, if you look at any other movie studio that puts out more than 5, 6, 7 movies a year, more than 5, 6, 7 projects in a year, you're gonna get some duds in there. You're gonna get some stuff that doesn't land, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that naturally, if you start to release 4 movies a year on top of 3 to 4 TV shows a year, you're now putting out 8 or 9 projects every year. Ain't no way all of them gonna be great.
One of these TV shows is gonna be bad.
I
just don't know which one. I think it has to be WandaVision, but I just don't know which one.
I really hope not. But they're talking about that's gonna be like a sitcom. Like
that's what's throwing me off.
Yeah, that's like, whoa, what are y'all doing with that?
They're like a sitcom, but it's not a sitcom. I'm like, okay, whatever.
They even said they might even do like the piped in studio audience laughing that we used to get like on old sitcoms.
I mean, if it's funny enough, you know, but it has to have a balance.
Yeah.
If it doesn't have the balance, I don't think it's gonna work out, man.
You know, I guess at the end of the day, I shouldn't really complain because we asked for this. We wanted all of this. We're living in a golden age of, you know, comic book content at this point.
Right.
A golden age of superhero movies. So, hell, if we're going to get 4 movies from Marvel and then DC's going to up theirs to 3 or 4, like, it's all coming. We're just going to get it.
Look.
I'm going to be in every one of them.
Every single one.
I know that. So, I ain't got to question that. And if it's bad, it's bad. But you know what? We always got something probably the very next month to look forward to.
Right.
So.
It is what it is, yeah.
It's a lot to look forward to. Black Adam is December 22nd, 2021. On top of all the other things coming out in 2021, man. Look forward to it. Can your pockets handle it? I don't know. I guess we'll see.
I better get that A-list.
Get that A-list.
Quit playing.
Get on one of them screens on Disney Plus. Be economical, y'all.
Be economical. Shit.
With that said, we're gonna move on to the last topic, man. You went to a convention recently,
man.
Anime NYC, was it?
Yeah.
Let's talk about that, man.
Yeah, man. I went to Anime NYC this weekend. I don't think it's the biggest anime convention. Just like Comic-Con Comic-Con NYC wasn't the biggest convention ever either, right?
Sure.
But it was a lot of people there. It's not as big as Comic-Con, one, because anime is so niche, right? We live in a country where comic books was the foundation, right? Anime wasn't the foundation. And just by that context alone, I think there was a way more people at Comic-Con. But Anime NYC definitely wasn't too far behind of how many people were there. It was cool, man. It actually, so one of the things that
No Siri. No Siri. What the hell? No, you are not a guest on this week's podcast.
Jesus.
It's always me, man. It's always happens. I'm always the one with the faulty goddamn technology. First, it's the damn FaceTime ringing and calling in. Now Siri wants to jump in and add her conversation.
You got an active phone over there,
Yeah,
man. You got an active phone. But Anime NYC was dope, man. I don't think it was the craziest thing when it came to panels, right? When I went to Comic-Con, there was really dope panels.
Sure.
Anime NYC,
like they were okay.
The panels are just okay.
Yeah.
I was a little disappointed in some of the merch that was there.
Oh, no.
I was looking for a Hunter x Hunter shirt and a Trigun shirt and a Yu Yu Hakusho shirt, and I didn't get any of that. I got a couple pickups though that I'll share on social media. But that being said, it was cool. I surprisingly didn't see as many black people as I thought I would, but there were still a lot of black people.
It was still a lot of black people.
But there was still a lot of black people.
Yeah. Well, that's good to see.
Yeah, it's good to see. Anime is also one of those things where it doesn't necessarily have the best, what's the word, connotations, I guess, surrounding it, right?
Oh, sure.
Where a lot of people think anime people are weird.
Yeah. It hasn't. I don't think it's quite broken through like comic book culture as like traditional comic book culture. Mm-hmm. It's still sort of like considered like, oh, you watch
people.
That?
A lot of people are like, oh, you watch anime.
Yeah.
And I think that's why Dragon Ball Z is so crazy for black people, is because black people love Dragon Ball Z.
Oh my god!
And that's a lot of black people's introduction into all anime, right?
For sure.
And I think that's why it's so big for them. Like, they wouldn't watch something, I don't know, that just somebody doesn't know about and become an anime fan. They couldn't watch a Tokyo Ghoul or something crazy out of the water and just become an anime fan. Mm-hmm. But again, it was interesting to see. Anime NYC was dope. I wish there was, again, a little more better vendors. And I would like to see a couple more black people in there, man. But that's it. That's really all it is.
Okay.
It was cool. My boy has his own manga. It's called God Punch. Follow it. It's literally about a black man.
Shout him out, man.
And an anime. My boy Pat. So
that's what's up.
Make it happen.
Yeah.
God Punch. You might see me retweeted on social media or something at some point. But he's doing big things out here. It is really good. He's been sending me chapters for months before, but chapter 1 is published now. So I believe you could probably actually buy it, and I'll figure out where to do that at. But yeah, man.
That's dope, man.
It was a good weekend.
Definitely got to support people in that culture, of course. I love to hear, black people getting into anime and like really showing that love and all of that, all of that good stuff, man. I still gotta hop on myself and like really start to get into it more, because I am one of those black people that loves Dragon Ball Z, but I have not taken that extra step to dive into all the other good stuff. Even though I know shows, like you've recommended me shows, and I know other shows that I definitely want to watch. So I'm trying to get into it soon, man. Yeah. So I can hopefully go next year.
I think once more. Specifically speaking to our people, right? Once more black people realize that they're just stories, just happen to be animated, right? And I think people will start watching more.
Good to hear, man. Well, y'all, that's episode 7 of Two Black Nerds.
Indeed it is.
Wow. We want to thank y'all again for rocking with us as always. Continue to follow us on social media for more conversation and more news coming from us. Twitter and Instagram at Two Black Nerds. No Facebook, y'all. Don't go there. We're not there. We're not going to be there because we know y'all not there. Also, definitely subscribe, leave a comment and a positive rating if you can on Apple Podcasts or any other platform you can, man. We love to hear that feedback from y'all, or just DM us. We're always open to, getting those messages. Come talk to us if you know us personally. Come talk to us, chat with us, let us know what you think about the show. Tell us topics that you want to talk about. Right. As we continue to mention every week, we have a lot coming up for y'all, man. A lot of really exciting episodes.
The episodes.
Oh my goodness, the debate and the conversation around these things is going to be really interesting. So we're going to run down a few things before the end of the year is over. We're going to talk about the top 25 movies of the decade.
Big one.
The whole decade. That's the one I'm actually the most excited about.
We're going to get it.
We're also going to be talking about the top 10 movies of 2019.
Yep.
This year alone, we got to examine what that looks like for this year. There's been some incredible stuff. We just saw 3 movies that very well might be on there. Make it on that list. So we're going to be talking about that as well. We also have coming for you guys the top 10 and the top 10 best and the top 10 worst comic book / superhero movies of the decade, right? So we're gonna look at the superhero and comic book movies that we really liked, and then we're gonna look at the ones that just weren't so good.
Probably should have been made.
There's some duds in there, boy. Those will be left unnamed for now, but trust me, they will get their medicine.
Right.
What else we got for them, man? We got some other lists coming for them.
Yeah, man. We have the top 25 hip hop albums of the decade as well.
Oh man.
As well as the top 10 of the year.
Yep.
And same thing with R&B, top 25 of the decade. decade and top 10 of the year.
There's been a lot of conversation about R&B lately, I feel like.
I've been hearing a lot about hip hop the past couple days.
Honestly, yeah. I think, we talked about like the biggest R&B artists of the decade, like who did the best on the charts.
A little bit of both, I guess.
Like, Rihanna and Beyonce. It's a lot of, man.
Murdered it.
It's a lot of good conversation coming up for y'all, man. I'm really looking forward to these. These are going to be some really interesting episodes. It's a tall task to look at an entire decade.
It's hard
of content.
Hey,
man,
so
charge.
Don't charge our decisions right to the. don't charge me to the head, man. Don't charge me to the heart.
Charge it to the game.
Charge
man.
it to the game.
To the game.
This is
everything can't make it, right?
Everything can't make it.
Yeah.
It's our opinion too, right?
Absolutely.
So yeah.
We'll definitely be rolling those out for y'all real soon. We're gonna be recording them, and we'll let you know what the criteria is and what the release schedule for those will be. But we're gonna knock those out really soon. So stay tuned for those lists and those episodes coming for you. But with that said, we'll be back next week, of course, with another episode of Two Black Nerds, man.
Yeah, man. One more time, encourage everyone to be ready for Two Black Nerds Movie Club. It's going down really soon. I got like 3 movies in mind.
Oh,
just
perfect.
Be ready.
Well, let's do it, man. Make it happen.
Yeah, man. A lot of people were like, man, can we watch this together? This is like another movie, a Black Christmas movie coming out on Netflix that we all should watch when it comes out. That I'm actually excited for. Just because we need all the Black Christmas movies.
Okay.
There
we go.
Yeah, man. That's it. Appreciate y'all. Again, follow us again at Two Black Nerds on any and everything. And that's it, y'all. This has been Two Black Nerds, where we're too black,
too nerdy,
and we out. Peace.